Welcome everybody, Double Tap here, and today I bring you guys something brand new to my channel. This is part 1 to my tips and tutorials for Cities Skylines. I've spent hours upon hours in this game, and hopefully I still remember enough that I can give all you beginners out there some pertinent information that can help you guys have something that resembles a city before you know it. And before I hop into the tutorial, I do want to just say thank you so much to everybody for all the nice comments, the likes, the subscribes. You guys have me right at the finish line of my goal of 1,000 subscribers, so let's get over that hump, and I'm going to keep these videos coming for you guys, and hopefully we can grow this channel into something that's going to be great one day. Without any further ado though, let's hop right into this. The very first thing that you're going to notice me doing here is just connecting these two roads with a simple basic one-lane road. The reason I'm doing that is because now you can see that you've unlocked the 2-lane roads here, which is what I want to use. So we're going to hit the little curvature one here. We're going to bring it out 2 notches, and we're going to create a little 90-degree slope here on both sides so that we have an exit and an incoming traffic lane here. So this is very important. You're going to want to have some nice large roads for where you start your city, because this is going to be where the majority of your traffic is flowing through. So we're going to continue using these double lane roads, and we're going to split the city into 2 different sides. On the right side here, if you want to call it that, or the east side, we're going to be building our industrial area, and on our west we're going to be building our communities. So it's very important to keep those 2 separate, because in our industrial side there's going to be lots of pollution, it's going to be noisy, and it's not going to smell great. So we're going to separate that side of our city from where people are living, because we want our living situation to be the best that it could possibly be. So here I'm just using some straight roads. These are just single lane roads here instead of the double, because we're actually breaking off into our communities now. So you don't have to use the double lane huge roads for your actual communities. That's just for the main arteries of your traffic. That way you're not going to end up with traffic jams where the majority of the traffic is going to be flowing through. So very important for your majority of your traffic and where everybody's going to be riding through, use the double lane roads. And for small communities and where people are going to be living, you can use just the single lane roads if that's what you choose. Now here we're going to be setting up our water flow, and you'll notice the arrows showing that the water's flowing the other way. So what we're going to do here is the intake is going to be on the opposite end of where the arrows, and the outtake, which is going to be where it's dumping all our waste, our garbage, all that stuff, you want it flowing with the water. Obviously you wouldn't want to put the outtake on the other end, because then you would be intaking the garbage for your drinking water. Worth noting, make sure that you have those on the right sides of where the water flow is actually happening. There you'll notice I did connect the 2 with a pipe, and the only way that this water is going to flow is if you have your intake valve and outtake connected together. So make sure that you do that, or else things will not work properly. Now here you see me dragging out water lines for our actual city. All the blue area means that it's covered by the actual water line, so you don't need to do anything else to connect your homes to water or your businesses to water. As long as it's in the blue area, you are good. Here we're going to get our power going. I do prefer to use wind power only because it is less pollution in our city. It makes people happier, and green energy is the way to go. It is a little bit more difficult to keep flowing. It does cost a lot in the beginning, but you will get upgrades to the water turbines later on that will help boost a lot of energy. So I do prefer to go wind with my electricity and my power, just because it's so important to keep people happy and keep people healthy. So here I'm taking our actual grid lines and I'm extending it along the edge of our city, and right here you'll notice that I just drag it a little bit out to where our actual beginning of our neighborhood is going to start, and on the opposite side of where our industrial is going to begin. It's very important that you attach just one line to where they'll actually be building the cities or the industrial area, because that allows the power to actually get into those neighborhoods. You'll understand a little bit more here as I zone this area. So I get a little overzealous here. We're going to zone with the green boxes here, which is for people's homes. This is residential areas. The blue is for commercial areas. So keep this in mind. Green is residential, blue is commercial, and yellow is industrial. So here I just want our industrial buildings to gain on that right side and a little bit here on the little hook here. So I'm just selecting to draw my own area. The other one I was just using the fill feature, which you'll see right here. And if you right click on the fill feature, it will take away, which is what you just saw me deleting out those green areas. The reason I did that is because I just want them building in that first little block initially, because that's where the electricity is connected to. And as long as the blocks are connected to each other and one of the blocks have power, the entire thing will get power. I know that might sound confusing, but once you see the city build up here a little bit, you'll be able to see a little bit better representation of what I'm talking about. So now that that first initial neighborhood is getting built up, I am going to highlight the second block now, because it will automatically transfer that electrical power to that neighborhood without me having to connect the grid directly to it. Along the bottom, you'll notice that you have 3 little rectangle boxes next to the temperature, and it will be green, blue, and yellow, or orange, sorry. So the green represents the need for the residential buildings, the blue represents the need for your commercial buildings, and the orange represents the need for industrial. So if you ever see these growing, that means that you need more of that said feature. So it's telling us that we need more industrial, we need more jobs for these people, and we need more manufacturers for these commercial areas. So I am going to highlight that second grid, and you'll notice right away they start building more industrial buildings right there in that block. You can also see that our commercial has begun to build out, and they are starting to give some stores for our people to shop. And you're going to notice right away, now that we have actual jobs and we have residential areas, cars are beginning to flood into our city, and they are beginning to move into their new homes. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. The city, it starts to come alive, and it's just awesome. I love it. Such a beautiful game. Did not mean to click industrial there, so all you have to do is re-highlight over it with what you meant, and it will automatically take over. So it's no issue, very easy to take off your actual. Oh, right here, before I continue on with that, that was a perfect example of the actual grid line. You could see that everything is highlighted in blue. That means they are getting electricity through all those blocks. No need to worry though, if there was some type of issue with the power grid or with the homes individually getting power, you will be notified by those said residents that there's an issue. So we know everything's running smooth now because nobody's complaining about not having access to water and or electricity. So that's what you want to see when you're starting off your city for sure. You could see for the need for industrial and residential is definitely, it seems to be more taxing and more necessary than commercial. Oh, here we go. Congratulations. We've reached a population of 460. So we do unlock some new things, elementary schools and so on and so forth. We're going to be adding those buildings in for sure. Here we have a medical clinic, and as you'll notice when I drop this down for our people, you're going to notice how much happier they all get. Very smiles everywhere. They now have access to medical and healthcare, which is extremely important to any city, as we all know. The happiness factor of the citizens is extremely important. It is something that you're going to have to keep track of and maintain throughout this game. Again, we're going to be extending out our large roads here. This is our main intersection, and this is going to be our main flood lines of traffic. So make sure we're using the double lane there, so we're not going to run into any traffic issues in the future, at least hopefully. a little low on money right now, but as you can see, we are in the green and we are making about $200 right now in the green. So it's okay. As things grow here and more people come in and start working, our economy will grow with our city, and that's the name of the game. More stores getting built up there, more commercial stores as the need for them grows. It is very tempting to just highlight all the open areas available for industrial and or residential and commercial, but the reality of it is you want to slowly build each block out as you go, as you saw me highlighting, so that everything stays connected to that power grid. Very, very important, and the power grid can be kind of tricky in this game at times if you don't finesse it properly, so do keep that in mind. Start where you initially placed your power grid for your said neighborhood. And now again, you can see I'm expanding out to that last square, and we're going to continue to build out. Here, I'm already planning ahead. I know that this is going to be one of my main roads, and this isn't going to be just a direct residential area here. We are going to make sure that we have some main roads going up north into our actual city, because this is just the beginning of it. Again, make sure that where your main traffic is planning on going, you use double lane roads. So important. As you can see right here, even the traffic flow through those main roads is a lot higher than down our little neighborhood roads, obviously, because only very individualistic people are going to have to go there, people who live there. Whereas the main roads, you're going to have to drive down them to either leave or enter the city or go to grab groceries, whatever it may be. Everybody will be using those roads. Here you can see that our electricity is beginning to drop because more people are tapping into the actual power system. So as your city grows, make sure that you're checking your power system. You will need to increase the amount of electricity available to your citizens as your city grows. On the bottom left, you'll notice the little green circle with the city, and it's filling up. It's a little over 3/4 the way. That's just your notification for how close you are to getting to the next part of your city growth. So once it fills all the way up, you'll see another congratulations sign pop up. You've reached so on and so forth of a population, and you'll unlock new buildings. So it's basically the way that you level up in this game, if you will. Here you can see our little commercial area building up. So here we're running into a slight issue of electricity problems, which I knew was going to happen, but we do have enough now to add one more wind turbine here, which is going to help and should put us over the electrical availability there. So that should disappear. Everybody should be pretty pleased with that. Yeah, there you go. You can see all the need for electricity has went away, but we do have something else popping up here, which we will solve as soon as we have enough money to actually solve. You'll notice the little garbage cans over the city. That is because we don't actually have a garbage plant here, and we're going to definitely need to add that. It does cost 4,000, so again, this is just a little bit of a money situation here in the very beginning, but we will get over this very shortly. You don't want to leave those notifications along too long here, but I am just realizing now we can take a loan because we've hit the very first level up, if you will. So I take that $20,000 loan, and we're going to place down this garbage facility right here so that we could get on top of it and get these civilians happy. Also, it allows me enough to pop down a school here. Again, you'll see all the smiley faces pop up. Now our neighborhood has medical facilities and schooling facilities for the children to go to for an elementary school. So again, very important things to keep people happy. You'll notice once I place down the garbage facility that they are doing their job and they're going out and collecting garbage, which is what they'll do throughout the entire game. And again, all those little things are going to disappear. The notifications will let you know that it is no longer an issue So your civilians will not hesitate to let you know if they need something. That is one of the nice parts of this game. Here, I'm just going to plan out a little bit of my next city expansion here. Again, I'm just using the 1-lane roads here because this is going to be for our actual neighborhood. So we don't need to use the major double-lane roads here at this point. Just playing around with a few ideas here and seeing how I'm going to build this entire thing out. But as you can see, our bar is completely full as far as our need for residential areas. That means we have enough jobs available on the industrial side and commercial side. Now we just need people to actually go fill those job spots and start purchasing the items to keep a healthy economy flowing here. Here I'm just making sure that everything has access to water, or everybody has access to water, excuse me, and everything is going to be running smooth when these new homes are built up and people start moving in. Again, here we go. Congratulations, now we've upgraded to a worthy village is what they are considering this at this point. So that's great. They do give you a nice little money boost there, so I am going to get ahead of this electrical issue. As you can see, we're in the yellow. It's about to hit red, so I'm going to plop down a couple of these for sure. Very, very important that you stay on top of this. Again, going green does require a little bit more money up front, and it is a little bit more of a drag to keep running, but at the same time, it's a cleaner city, and it's happier people. So we already are going to have to deal with a certain amount of pollution coming from the industrial end, so why not minimize it by at least keeping our energy green at that point instead of burning coal. So as you can see, we're already starting to look like somewhat of a city here. We have everything split up nicely. Here we have our residential, our commercial, and our industrial. That's exactly how you want it. You want everything separate. You don't want a nice factory right next to all these beautiful homes. That's not going to make people happy. So here I am going to place down a firehouse, which is very important. I am considering destroying a home to place it because just location, location, location. It does suck destroying that home, but at the same side of the coin, that it does offer easier access for these firemen to actually go do their job because they're more in the middle of the city. So just had to bite the bullet on that one. So far, we've run into no major issues, though, so that's what you want to see. I love the actual incline of this city choice. It's beautiful. I love how it's hilly. Kind of reminds me of San Francisco with the little hills and rolling city. I love it. It's a great choice. This, you see me looking at the district tool. This is one of the cool little areas of this. You can paint an entire district. It'll automatically name it for you. For this episode, I haven't really changed any of the names or anything. I'm just showing you guys the actual features. But yeah, if you paint this entire area, for instance, as a district, once you drop it and I release, it'll automatically name it Cooper District there. So I'm going to have a district for our industrial, I'm going to have a commercial district, and I'm going to have a residential district. And we're going to have those named separate areas, and it just makes it a little bit easier to say what side of the city we're talking about without using the whole east, west, and north, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it just names it, and you'll see once you click off of the actual districts that it's still there. It'll show you the name of the district no matter what. So right there, yeah, Orchard District. So yeah, we have the 3 districts, and it's a little bit easier to determine which part of the city we're in at that point. Here, I'm just expanding out again our industrial area because the need is there. Same with our commercial. You'll notice that it is boosting up a little bit because our city is growing. So the need to purchase things is moving up as well. So we are going to highlight the outside of that circle entrance, and we will have more commercial buildings available. Looks like a lovely little neighborhood to live in. Right now everything is pretty condensed as far as our neighborhood goes, but it's our very first neighborhood for this city, and I do want to have as many available residential options as possible instead of making it more finessey and adding parks and all of that. I will do that at later parts, later districts, but for this district I just want a really tight residential area so we can get as many homes as possible in those small areas. As you can see, we're making really good money here, so I just put it on the fastest speed possible so that we could just allow our money to accumulate a little bit so that we can add on to this city where we see fit. And here you'll notice that I'm getting notifications that a building is leveling up. That is great news. That means that our city is happy, everybody has the needs required, and our buildings are actually going to level up and get larger and look nicer. So this is all good news. If you see buildings leveling up, that means you're doing something right. You may also notice that there's a little dip in your economy as they're leveling up. That's because those workers are no longer available for whatever reason when it happens, but once that upgraded house is finished building, you'll notice a boost of your income right after. So don't worry if you see your income dropping during those. It's nothing to worry about at all. It's a normal part of the game. So you will see a boost. Here's the electrical grid again. You can notice that everything was highlighted as one grid, just even though I've only placed that one electrical grid in the neighborhood. So I know these areas are going to require water piping system, but we don't have enough money to drag it from the entire other side like we did for the first two. So instead, I'm just going to use this technique here, and it costs a little bit less money, but we're going to make sure that this new area, as far as our residents go, will still have access to water, and it's completely fine. And now we went from a village to a tiny town. So we are getting somewhere here. Our city's growing, and this is all great signs. Everybody seems extremely happy right now. We don't have any issues going on in our city. Now, I am plopping down something else that is very important here. Again, I'm gonna, if I do have to destroy some homes to place it, I will. But this is the police station, and crime will become an issue as the city grows if you do not stay on top of it. So again, make sure that you have all the necessities of a city: fire department, a police department, and healthcare. All very important, as well as education. Educated people in this little world, if you will, do not create as much waste. So that is an important tip for why you want your citizens educated in this city. Very, very important. But yeah, as you can see, our economy is doing great right now. It went from just positive a few hundred to now well over 1,000. So that's what you want to see. As your city grows up, you have more workers, the economy will start to grow with it, as long as you're doing everything right, that is. Here, I'm just extending out our main roads. Again, I know that this is where our traffic is going to be flowing to get to each individual part of our city as it grows out. Here, you'll notice that I take one going right down the middle of that main entrance area. Again, I'm just planning ahead, knowing that I'm going to need major roads for traffic to flow through to get to their next area. And they are smart in this world. They will take those main roads if they are options, because the traffic will flow smoother. So as long as you design properly, you won't run into too many traffic issues. such a beautiful game. I love all the effects of it, and I just love seeing the cities thriving and all the cars moving around. It's amazing how beautiful they did this game and how realistic everything is. It does feel like it's alive, and it feels like it's growing. As you see your city grow larger, you see more cars on the road and you see more happening. It's just amazing. I love this game. Here our electricity again is becoming an issue. Once we unlock those water turbines, they produce a lot more energy for placing one down. They are a little bit more expensive, but they are so much better than these original wind turbines. But yeah, without any further ado, I actually think that this is the perfect spot to cut this tutorial. We have 3 beautiful districts built up, 1 residential, 1 commercial, 1 industrial, all separate. All our civilians are happy. We have our education dealt with, we have a firehouse, we have policing, and we have medical. Everything that you need to get a city going right off the ground in City Skylines. So I hope that this has helped you guys. If you guys do enjoy this and you want more content like this and you want to see part 2 to this series, do let me know in the comments. Show love, show your support. You guys have always been great with that. And without any further ado, this is Double Tap out.